in full force, but that's definitely something they're going to need as we get going with the second map of the Grand Finals.
Well, here we go. The last stop of the DreamHack Astro Open here in Jönköping for DreamHack Winter. It could be the last map of the entire event, unless Mousesports can really step things up. Simple has been tagged down to just 10 health. Oscar's looking to push him. That flashbang is going to neutralize him. Nothing he could do. You could see player model's hand over his eyes. He was completely blind. Good start for NaVi.
Means Simple escapes with 10 HP as well, but quick move from Mousesports up here. They realize that there's 3 players on that B-bomb site. There's room to punish, but Flamey with the first shot. Sinking down, Robs. Electronic follows up with the frag onto Chris J as well. And this is going not the way Mousesports have hoped for it.
Definitely not. It's all over unless Sunny can pull off a 1v5 with 16 health. And is too much of a tall ask to get from him. And, well, that's now 3 pistol rounds won by NaVi in this best of 3.
Yeah, and coming into this, we looked at the pistol stats. Mousesports having the edge there over NaVi. Not the case anymore. A little bit surprised by the approach from Mousesports as well, sending Oscar by his lonesome. Actually, or initially just sending him in towards the tree there. Maccabi is not necessarily that big of a risk, but actually having him push up alone further all by his lonesome was a bit of a chance to take. It didn't pan out at all either. NaVi with the great set pop flash.
Oscar destroyed down to 5. Just narrowly going to skip away from the nade that was inbounds. And taking control over Banana already. They decide to smoke down the bottom towards T-steps. Both of them P7s. In play 3 in total, actually, for NaVi.
Probably going to see some of them come through into the first buy round as well. NaVi's had a tendency to do so. Stiko with 2 frags in mid here. That leaves Electronic all by his lonesome. Not in pit either. Caught out of position. Stiko with 3 deagle frags so far.
What is happening? Well, Simple now has to go full Terminator.
Well, luckily for him, 3 other players on Mousesports' side barely needs to sneeze on him before they fall to their grave. And there's one. Oscar goes down, but Simple, as confident as he has been. Oh, actually, he's going to make a bit of a turnaround here. Goes through Library instead. He doesn't have a defuse kit, though. So he is conceding the round.
Yeah. I mean, the problem here for Simple is that even though from our perspective we can see how low they are, he has no idea about that.
Yeah.
Some calls might come through. I think they're tagged. They're not going to know if that's actually legit or how low the players are. So Simple using his head. Yeah, exactly. But you can't say just how much.
Yeah. I think the only one they could have any sort of confirmation on is Stiko.
No, don't do it.
Stiko's going to go down. That's unfortunate for him. No, actually, it's not Stiko going down.
Simple died.
Yeah, with the AK? No.
I think he had an M4.
M4, yeah, sorry. Or on the CT side, obviously. And there's been no AK in play because Mousesports lost the pistol. But yeah, Stiko actually winning that battle with 19 HP. And I was about to say, Stiko was the only player they probably could have been somewhat guaranteed that it was on low HP, seeing how he took the initial battle in mid and won that out. And again, Stiko managing to find the first round for Mousesports with a massive individual performance. Did the same thing on Cobble as well with that 4K. This time it's a 4K with 3 deagle headshots to set them off to a right start.
Yeah, Stiko definitely needs to take a bow for that previous round with his deagle work. Forcing NaVi, their backs against the wall, force buying with pistols. You do have 3 smokes as well, and we did touch on this before, that utility in smokes in particular are so vitally important for the CTs.
Yeah.
Can really stall the aggression from the terrorists.
Not just that, getting to really close positions behind the smoke as well, which is super beneficial when you have a weapon like a ZZ. Pretty much all you need to do is take out that one player to create chaos in the ranks of Mousesports. But Mousesports having a very slow approach here. Kind of reminiscent of what we've seen NaVi do on their T sides as well. Electronic here is going to have some itchy fingers and move actually kind of at the perfect timing. Even though it doesn't find any players, it's a big tell as to where Mousesports are moving out with abs just completely vacated. Only Sunny left in mid. That's the next smoke going down as well. And time is starting to run low here. Unless Mousesports want to run through this, it's only going to be around 15 seconds when that smoke dissipates.
Edward by himself, but now the rest of his team are starting to come through. And they know it's going to be on the B site as he just jumps across, hops over the player. But Electronic gets 2 kills with the CZ. Oscar and Chris J pushed to the wayside for the time being. Sticko doesn't look to push him with the rest of his teammates, but they're not going to check the back of the site. And this could cost them dearly. Simple's waiting to line them up, and he will knock them down alongside Flamey. Sunny cannot get it done. And then NaVi sneak their way into a victory.
That's unfortunate. Again, probably a blessing in disguise that Electronic doesn't find anyone on his venture through apps there. If he, for instance, finds Sunny, that's obviously going to be a big tell that somebody could be behind you in Banana at any given time, but Sunny, with clearing he got up mid, immediately thought that there was nobody to be found, nobody on the backstab, and an Electronic with 2 quick frags there pretty much ends the round for Mousesports to get forced into move on that B bomb site that was already stacked up.
Almost an anti-tilt timeout caused by Mousesports after that last round.
We'll see if it actually does them any good. They also managed to hold on to an AK on the side of NaVi as well, which is very beneficial. Well, we do have Deagles out for the side of Mousesports, and they were able to do it once. Let's see if they're able to do it twice.
This is actually a better buy as well, because they have an AK, they've got the FAMAS alongside it. Of course, Sunny saved it in the last round. And plenty of nades, lots of Molotovs.
Simple gets tagged up. 3-man hold on B though, and there once again, power flash into mid, and Oscar gets directed in the same fashion as he did in the pistol round. This time Chris too far away to actually help him out. And that's an unretrievable pistol as well. Then again, they do have Deagles, so not the biggest loss. Still gonna try their luck. Ooh. A lot of damage being done here. Simple, down to 27 HP. Edward gets a headshot through the wall, and Chris Shea finally gonna take out the heavy hitter on Navi's end. It's gonna allow them to potentially pick up a extra rifle here.
Maybe a bit of hubris being the downfall of Simple on that occasion. I feel like most players, once they got tagged down, would just be getting the hell out of there, backing off to the side.
Sunny's made his way all the way up in quad. No players on Navi's end in pit either.
Flamey, tall task ahead of him with Electronic. He's going to go down instantly. Rops with the pixel perfect headshot. That's Zeus and Electronic are putting in the kills themselves. Thicko will answer back with Rops. And now Edward has to try and retake, salvage this round. It has been back and forth from the very beginning between these two Titans, exchanging blows.
Edward does have a diffuse kit, no utility though. So a lot of angles that he has to clear out before he can actually make his way safely forward. Once more, Mousesports having that pit position, which is so good to have in afterplan situations like this. And Edward might just think the better of it and actually bail out. Maybe stay put for an exit frag or two if he gets lucky, but time has already ran out. There's no way of him actually being able to defuse this bomb.
Yeah, this round's over. I feel like one of these players may actually die, though. Are they going to be able to get away? Is Robs going to be able to survive? Ooh, 8 health. Close, but no cigar.
Totally calculated, of course. 8 HP in Rops, who was missing on Cobalt, coming up with 2 big frags there, finding the rotation on Flamey as we see there. And then as Zeus turns the corner, gets taken down as well.
And I think the reason why Edward actually moved into apps there is that typically, once the bomb detonates, a lot of terrorists will hide in pit in that little corner. And I think his plan was to peek out after the bomb detonates and just wipe out whoever's there.
Yeah, easy.
So I actually like that Mousesports decided to try and run into library instead. They're kind of one step ahead of Edward.
That's a very good point. Again, Oscar trying his luck in Banana. Smoke's actually going to cover and save Edward for the time being. We are seeing the buy-up though. And Oscar goes down once more. And he's just been a sole warrior up towards this Banana area and haven't found any success. So at this point, Mousesports have to reconsider whether or not they want to continue on this trend or actually give him some backup. It's a little weakened defense on the A-bomb site with the initial 3-man setup over towards B. And now we see Simple rotating over. He only has an MP7, which is, as you mentioned in the last map, not optimal versus armor. So in the hands of Simple, it feels like anything can be lethal.
That is true. Could bring a pen into this fight and probably get a couple of kills with it.
Oh. And a second rotation has been made from NaVi as well. But Rops is going to find the first frag onto Electronic.
And he got entries from the same position last time. Something to watch out for as we go further and deeper into this half. But it is actually going to be NaVi that are repelling the onslaught for the time being. Rops is going to land another one. And, well, lightning has struck twice. This time, though, Edward is in better shape. He has 15 more health. Both the Mousesports are low. And he's already up close. He hasn't wasted any time walking through library, so this is much more doable. The problems are that the angles that Mousesports currently possess, there's a lot of little corners that you have to cover, and Sunny is up to the task. Much better for Mousesports. The sad statistic is they're nearly equaling their overall rounds they picked up on Cobblestone. They're just one shy of 4.
Yeah, that is true, but, you know, Mousesports probably already put that in the back of their heads. Not worried about that right now. Just being able to strike back immediately and also reset NaVi, it's a massive get for them. I'm actually curious about like the way Edward approached that 1v2 with his running in at the start. Maybe that's to fluster Sunny, who's planning the bomb, and actually get Rops to peek from pit. Like a neat little idea. Well, actually, well, as I said, NaVi were looking at an eco, but they're forcing up here. We have seen that backfire for them previously on overpass, and it's not the most impressive buys. Needs to go out to clear out space here. This time there is help in Banana, but it doesn't seem to matter. And just in a matter of seconds, 4 players taken down on Mousesports' end. Oscar finally replies onto Simple, but it's too little too late probably at this point.
He has actually got a clear run to the B site at least, so he can get the plant down.
2 AKs picked up on NaVi's end though, and they do have full Kevlar. They have a Molotov, 3 smokes even. 1 defuse kit is not to be found though. That might be the remedy.
He's using the smoke to his advantage. He's going to pick up the frag, but Flamey's just behind him. Nice try, Oscar. But as you said, it was what, a 4v1, 5v1? I mean, you can do as much as you want, but eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Yeah. Mousesports just dropping rounds that they really can't afford to do, and Chris not looking too happy about that, understandably so. And they've just been pummeled every time they've tried to go towards Banana. Just getting picked apart. Obviously, you can't really do much about a shot like the one Simple hits. That's just, you have to take that for what it is. But it's the follow-ups on the other opposite side of the maps. Both Susan and Electronic finding 1 frag each with their ZZs. It just really sends things into the depths of hell for Mousesports. So now, well, they do get a buy-up. Oscar does have that op in his hands. But it could have been so much better off.
I mean, it is also credit to Oscar that if they don't get the bomb planted, this buy could look a lot different across the board. Could be a lot less nades.
No op, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So again, you know, you've got to tip your hat to an extent to Oscar. Even though they lost the round, they'll be bitterly disappointed. Yeah. Drops again. Maybe a bit telegraphed, maybe a little bit obvious at this stage. He's been there the last 2 or 3 rounds and has had a lot of success. So it's only a matter of time before NaVi just stuck 2 players there and said, deal with Rops. Yeah. And they have dealt with him nicely.
NaVi from the get-go is sending 4 players over towards that A-bomb site as well, which is different from what they've been doing in the past. Been focusing heavily on early Banana control. This time it's only Edward with an MP7 over towards that bomb site. Simple. And the arch corner actually gets taken out. Seems like he kind of fell asleep at the wheel there.
That is uncharacteristic for Simple. You expect him to land that frag, and looking from his reaction, he almost seems surprised.
Yeah.
Like, on his little player cam at the bottom. So I'm not sure what happened there, but either way, they've got to ignore the past and focus on the here and now, and that will see Zeus pulling back from library. Electronic will at least avenge his fallen teammate. And Sunny's going to get put down as a double pit stack is still looking strong. Sticko and Oscar, not much time to play with, not much health either. The bomb's also been dropped, but here comes Sticko. He's picked up 1 and a second as well. He has been dropped down below 50 health, but lands the headshot and gets the clutch. Disgusting.
Disgusting, but so needed for Mousesports there. Sticko once again coming up massive to just save Mousesports here. And it's, you know, pretty much the unexpected hero for them at this point. We've talked about Rops, we've talked about Oscar, but it's Sticko making things happen here for Mousesports in the most unlikely of situations. And NaVi, well, they're gonna have to sit and stew in it as Mousesports take another tactical timeout. They probably don't want to experience the same kind of a scenario as they did last time they thought they were going up against an eco.
It's the nature in which they've lost that round as well. Simple dying the way he did, and then the clutch as well. I mean, you've got to feel like that's some extra spicy things going on in TS right now, a bit of extra salt.
Yeah, it happens every now and again. Maybe Simple's looking at the radar to kind of get a better idea of how his teammates are set up in that kind of
one
position.
split second he gets peaked.
Exactly, that's all it takes. And Chris J is going to take that opportunity all day, every day.
It shows maybe it's Simple's human after all.
I mean, so far from what we've seen in this tournament, every evidence points against that. He's been really something else so far. And again, NaVi opting to force buy into this here. They were able to find a lot of success with this last time around. We'll see if Mousesports are better prepared. Much slower approach up in Banana, at least.
Triple stack on B, and soon to be a quadruple stack. Electronic will join the rest of his brothers. Only Zeus remains on A.
Mousesports getting the furthest up Banana they've ever gotten without losing half their team. So small victories being had here.
Got to take them where you can, Ben.
Exactly. Zeus, sole defender of that A bomb site with the ZZ. No real signs of aggression from Mousesports just yet, but they are grouping up towards this A bomb site. And that's the perfect choice in this situation. They don't really have the information to make I guess, a valid selection of bomb sites up to this point. They haven't really been given anything from NaVi. So this is a bit of a gamble, but at least they're doing it by committee, not giving the opportunity for NaVi to pick them off one by one.
They have a lot of real estate here, though, Ben, on the aggression. And they are going to get the entry, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. And immediately you see NaVi just deciding that, well, we're going to hold down this B bomb site regardless. And if Mousesports decide to hunt after us, which they really don't have too much of an incentive to do, we'll have to go up against a pretty rough set of crossfires. Sunny probably the only player who would be willing to take this challenge. You can see bottom of the barrel in terms of money for NaVi, and that's why they're deciding to stick on or hold on to this. So they could go into pretty much a reset round here in the sense that they get to keep nearly everything they had in this round, and we saw what they were able to do with it previously. So there's still a fighting chance, and pressure's not let off on Mousesports by any means. There you go, nobody dying to the bomb or anything like that. So Mousesports managed to keep 5 players alive, and that's obviously good for them, being able to build up some economy.
And of course, on top of that, a far better start than we saw on Cobblestone.
Already surpassing the round total.
Indeed. So a bit of confidence boost. NaVi into this round as well. Pretty much the same weapons as anticipated. So it could be a rinse and repeat from Mousesports. But this time, it's going to be the polar opposite. 4-player stack on A, and Flamey by himself on B. In fact, it's actually Simple, not Flamey.
Yeah. Simple's terrible enough to deal with, and Oscar feels the full wrath of the Ukrainian youngster. That's 1 man down, 4 to go. Oscar even had an op in that situation, didn't do him any good.
The maximum tilt. I've got an op, Deagle.
Simple. Yep. There we have it. No budging from NaVi either, staying true to their 4-man stack on that A bomb site. Mousesports again, though, seem to be venturing up Banana early on.
Simple still on B by himself. Again, so much confidence from the rest of his team in this guy's ability and in himself. Chris J is going to go for a peek, and Simple not far off landing, but Chris J will pluck him out. However, the bomb is already making a move towards A. And NaVi are holding on to this site. They're not going for the rotation.
Oh, they're falling back now. Sunny's going to be the 1 man left alone over towards A. He's going to find Flamey as well. That's a big get. It's going to delay any sort of potential rotation. And Chris J, in the meanwhile, has to clear it out. Started to clear out this B bomb site. Electronic finds Sunny, and that should be the go-ahead for Mousesports to run into B. Bomb's going to get planted on top of the casket, and Rob's already far down in Banana to cut off any sort of early backstab. And he's going to hear this, the trampling of Electronic. Electronic is actually bailing out with the Mac 10.
Yeah, I want to save the Kevlar. I feel like it's more saving the Kevlar than the Mac 10 at this stage.
Yeah.
You're probably going to throw the Mac 10 away, but Zeus will have no luck on his endeavors to save. But that kill on Sunny was, for me, one of the most important moments in this round because it kept the CTs, as Electronic is going to take down Rops, but it kept the CTs basically stuck on A. No one wanted to rotate. They thought, okay, well, this could still be an A hit.
Yeah. And Electronic with that kill has the opportunity to pick up the off that we saw Oscar drop initially off the back of Simple's 1D. So massive get for NaVi there on pretty much a free round considering they saved 4 players right before. Mousesports, though, up to 6 rounds. So things definitely looking up for them compared to what we saw in Cobblestone. Much more of a fight being put up here. still, we've yet to see Oscar kind of just get engaged in this game at all. And if Mousesports can grab rounds here versus NaVi without the help of Oscar, and that's a good sign of things that might come. Simple with the peek into middle. Not going to go aggressive. He rarely has been very aggressive with these mid peeks.
It was super close and tight up until the moment Sticko pulled off that clutch, and since then it has been a gust of rounds going the way of Mousesports. That was the determining factor that changed the dynamic of this map. And as you say, I mean, Oscar hasn't really had a huge amount of impact. He's currently on 4 frags. It's really been Sticko and Rops that have been the 2 main men.
Well, Sunny wins out the duel versus Flamey as Simple is smoked off. Man advantage once again, but they did stack up with 4 players over towards this A bomb site from the get-go pretty much of the round. Mousesports have no idea of knowing about this. You might expect the rotation to have come into place by now. We'll see if they'll actually decide to commit towards the A bomb site.
3 on 5, but Simple is going to quickly take away one of those lives. Snatches it out the hands, Use up close with his UMP, but Oscar lands the shot. Super important. Rops in the meanwhile dispatches of Electronic. And Edward will be sat on B, mourning the rest of his team.
And finally, we see Oscar connecting with one of these close-up battles. Finds Suze as well. A bit of a sloppy execute initially from Mousesports there. Sticko running out before the flash pops. You can see, just about half a second after he goes down, Simple's just completely white from a flash. So maybe a little bit too eager there to move forward, but still, in the end, works out for Mousesports. 7 rounds is what we're going to be looking at. And with Edward saving, yeah, sure, he's going to be able to hold on to a Colt, but the rest of the team has pretty much spent all they had. $100 on the side of Flamey, Simple at 150, Electronic 550, and Zeus at 1900. So golden opportunities here for Mousesports to really start distancing themselves from NaVi.
Well, absolutely. And NaVi, when it came to the rifle rounds, they've had a bit of success, but it's 4 rounds in a row now, and in the last, 6, they've won 5 of them, or actually 7, and they've won 6 of them. So yeah, it's just been an unreal passage of play from Mousesports. And again, that was directly after the clutch that Sticko performed the 3v1 with something like 10 seconds left.
And have to consider even the round before that Mousesports managed to snag. That was off of the 3 Deagle headshots and the final MP7 kill on Sticko as well. So he really set them off on the right path to victory here. And NaVi taking the time to talk things through. Simple actually going to invest into this. This is one of these awkward force buys we've seen a couple of times out of NaVi. Edward on a Colt, Omp on Simple. The rest of the team with pistols. Not even full Kevlar on Flaming and Electronic. Not going to be the biggest of things. Obviously, they're going up against AKs, but this can really set the first half off to a really bad footing for NaVi.
Oh, yeah. What worries me most about on the CT side is, as good as Simple is, if Mousesports just pushed the opposite side to where he is, he's basically going to have no effect. I feel like this sort of a buy would make a lot more sense on the T side, where you can just get behind Simple and say, you entry, you do whatever you can to get us the round.
I guess the one upside you have is that Simple is very mobile. When he gets the op in his hands, we've seen him move around aggressively in Banana and also getting into apartments like he is now, just to try to find that first frag. Doesn't find any success, though.
I think that's also why you're seeing very aggressive take from NaVi down Banana. So they want to have an early warning system that if it's going to be B, Simple can instantly wrap around and be in position to strike.
That's very true. And I mean, if you're Mousesports right now, you're probably not expecting a force buy coming out from NaVi as well. So they might get the nasty surprise of running into a lot of weapons. First aid is going to find Zeus, and Oscar quick on the trigger, finds Edward as well. And that's the entire B defense. You talked about that early warning system, but it seems like NaVi, yeah, they're just conceding the round here.
Because the problem with that early warning system is that one of the players has to at least stay alive long enough. What a shot that is by Electronic. In the back as well. Headshots
Nappy
in the backside are always a bit of a nightmare. But the problem is that because neither of them survived for more than like a second or two, Simple didn't have enough chance to rotate. He was around graveyard side.
Yeah,
he's not going to make up that room.
Yeah, you snap your fingers and all of a sudden B is gone.
Yeah.
And obviously the intent is that at least either Edward or Zeus picks up at least one frag that might stall Mousesports from pushing in immediately, or they have to battle it back. As long as Edward is able to just drop off the wall there, then that's going to stagger the push of Mousesports and allow for Simple to make a rotation. Instead, we're seeing Electronic with the picked up AK and Simple with the op, both in A halls, holding on for their deal lives. Mousesports, They do have the economy to potentially go hunting here, but obviously they're thinking long-term at this point. They want to have the opportunity to buy up as many times as possible. And as we see, the economy on NaVi does allow them to buy up with this regardless. I mean, if they didn't have the opportunity to actually hold on to these weapons, only Edward really suffering.
And plus the 2 players that they were looking to hunt were pretty scary.
Yeah.
You get punished if you move into their crosshairs. It was Electronic and Simple.
Guys, let's go find Simple. Said no one ever.
How about no?
Well, there we have it. Up in the hands of Simple. Full rifles on the NaVi squad. Healthy amount of utility as well. So it's going to be their best stand to make a defense here in quite some time. Stu's very aggressive. Going to take some fire damage initially. Have to give up Ab's control as well. One of the toughest places for CTs to actually hold back T's from with this new iteration of Inferno.
Maybe a direct response as well to Electronic's frag in the previous round when he was in the bedroom outside the window. Just making sure that he doesn't get any more success there. But it is something that we touched on yesterday and also the first day, that Dozier was such a menace on the CT side in apps, constantly getting kills, constantly keeping presence in there. Maybe this is something NaVi need to switch up.
You can see, I mean, initially, Mousesports do a good job using their Molotovs to actually clear that out. Now we see the execution coming into the bomb site. Flamey with the first frag. Stico, though, takes out Electronic and Zeus. And, well, would you look at that within the matter of seconds?
Look at it.
4 players. Yeah, look at that. 4 players gone in the blink of an eye, and Mousesports secure their 9th round. Edward once more. He's going to have to start hating this scenario here. It's like, guys, what's going on over there on the A-bomb site?
At this point, he's like Tom Hanks in Castaway, but his Wilson's gone, you know?
He doesn't even have Wilson anymore. How sad would that movie be without Wilson?
Mate, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. And Edward, well, that's the kind of situation he finds himself in right now. No real hope of getting any frags. Can't really do any damage to the economy of Mousesports either. And now we're just seeing a bit more boldness from Mousesports as well. It's Chris J making his way over towards this B-bomb side. Their economy has started to grow quite a bit, so they can afford to take a couple of risks here. Not going to find Edward, though.
There's another pause. Last one didn't really yield much for NaVi.
I mean, even with 4-man stacks on that A-bomb site, they're not able to deal with the Mousesports executions. Even with that early frag on Flamey, onto Rob, Stico doing a marvelous job. Just taking out the better part of the defense on the NaVi side. So a bit of a role reversal here. First game on Cobble, it was all about NaVi, and so far, Mouse have returned the favor on Inferno.
And what may worry NaVi fans here is that the last map, if we do go the distance, which is looking more and more likely as time goes on, would be Mirage. And Mousesports gave the sausage to Big yesterday on that map. It was incredibly one-sided. They played phenomenally and very aggressive on both sides of the map.
Yeah. It's been a very comfortable map. Even Chris J said that in his post-game interview. A very comfortable map for them to go to. So they have to be, you know, drooling at the sight of Mirage being a potential decider. Well, a bit of a more traditional setup here initially, and Rops goes down to the flames as Electronic takes the duel. So, positive start for NaVi, finally.
I can only assume like a headshot into the last tick of a Molotov, something like that, because it seemed to happen really fast.
Either that or he gets kind of stuck in the Molotov, slowed down by it. And so just fizzling out as he is sprayed down. Ooh, tag onto Chris J.
Edward's going to play up close and smoke off, and there's another Molotov kill. Mousesports, please, fire hurts.
Been invited to the barbecue of NaVi. 3 members left on Mousesports side, though. They're going to decide to take their action over towards 8. Sunny once again towards Abs here. Not going to peer out, though. Heading over to A-Halls. Solid setup, though, from the NaVi side. 2 spots out Stico. Does significant damage to him as well.
Actually a smoke, but he's faking the flash. Doesn't really matter, those uses unfazed.
Tough task at hand for the 2 remaining Mousesports players. Electronic and familiar spots. Gonna find Sunny with a nade in his hand. Right place at the right time, and Oscar left alone. Again, economy on Mousesports side is good enough to the point where Oscar can afford to throw away this off in the sense that, you know, goes hunting for kills, because it's gonna matter so much more for NaVi to maintain numbers here. It's simple. Posted up in the perfect position, finds Oscar, and a clean sweep on the side of NaVi, much needed as well. Finally ends the run. That was 6 rounds in a row on the side of Mousesports.
Yeah, the curse has been lifted, but they're going to have to make sure that they continue to repel Mousesports because they have so much funds. I mean, ultimately, there's a couple of players that are low, but also Chris J's over 10K.
Yeah.
They could force together buys in these last 2 rounds anyway, so it's not going to get any easier for NaVi. There's going to be no freebies for the rest of this half.
We'll see what Mousesports have in store. Again, this time completely ignoring Banana, not interested in showing any sort of presence there at all. Outside of that, though, it's the similar default take of apps, just with a lot of more backup to it. And this might lead to a quick execution here. You can already see it's Chris J posted up in second mid. He might be setting up for some flashes and smokes to have the 3 players and apps here dart out and surprise Electronic.
This is typically where Mousesports have got a lot of their entries when it comes to the A side. So Electronic's going to actually stand really close, deciding to back away as the flashbang starts to connect. Flamey is going to pick up the first, and Simple's good for one more. Flamey with the second, and in just the space of a second, pretty much 4 players die. Sunny, good luck to you, sir. This is looking like it's too tall a task, and Flamey will prove that's the case.
Yeah. Flamey really seeming to be comfortable with that op in quad side on Inferno here. We saw that in the OTs versus Gambit as well. Really able to have an impact with it. And again, NaVi making that early rotation over towards A with not necessarily too much information to base it off of. But to be fair, tendencies have shown that Mousesports do favor that A bomb site by quite some margin. And yet again, though, full buy on the side of Mousesports.
Not the woods just yet. NaVi can't see sunlight for trees at this stage. Still in the thick of it. But they are giving themselves more and more of a chance to strike on the T-half, and Electronic with his AK-47 taken away from the terrorists will use it against them. Flamey with another one. And a flick to Sticko. Unrelenting in his aggression, as will be NaVi. They had a real rough mid-portion of that first half, but they finished with 3 back-to-back. And again, when they played against Gambit, both teams had a far better T-half than their CT-half, so the best may very well be yet to come. Yeah,
and I think that's what's in the back of NaVi's head as well. Getting 6 rounds here to close out the first half. It's probably something they'll be happy with. CT sides have been kind of their weak point so far in this tournament. So this is a sign of improvement on their end. That said, though, their T side was fairly one-dimensional on the side of NaVi. Obviously very methodical in the sense that it's well thought out. Their default kind of covers all bases. But Mousesports could definitely have looked into this and have an idea as to how they want to approach it. We saw Gambit eventually finding the answer and playing very passively, not giving up any opening kills. And that's when NaVi really started to struggle. Remains to be seen what they come up with. So much better showing from Mousesports here in this second map.
And so far in this best of 3, all 3 pistols have gone to NaVi. So let's see if Mousesports can break that.
And that would be a massive get as well. Looking at potentially going up to 12 rounds right off the bat to start off the second half. Definitely would calm quite a few nerves. And on the CT side, I'm really hoping to see more of an Oscar show than what we've seen so far. But NaVi, quick pace here up mid.
Oh no.
Full on armor as well.
It's just Rops.
Oh god.
Although he may be saved for now because they're going to be pushing straight through the CT sides. Now it's going to be Sticko that's going to see the action, and a leaping Edward is going to bait out enough for Sticko to get dispatched of by Electronic. But now that they have got the pick, now Rops will be shaking. He is behind enemy lines at this stage, and he's been spotted. There's going to be a lot of fire coming his way, and it's the USP that's used against them this time. And will be a bomb plant afterwards. Now Sports in a bit of trouble. Do have a kit. That's pretty much the only thing going for them though at this stage. 5 players left alive, trying to retake against 5 when there's 3 of them in pit.
I think this is one of the scenarios where you just hold on to your Kevlar and defuse kit going into the next round. Well, Oscar decides against that. Sunny does find 1 frag, but...
Yeah, and Chris J's been baited in, and Simple, the leaping knife.
Why not?
Get shanked. Yeah, I think Chris J was baited in there. He would probably like to have run away, but he was in the alcove. He's basically stuck.
And I mean, if you're looking at Simple getting an op on that T side early on, that's definitely going to send him skyrocketing towards it. NaVi just with the perfect read there. All 5 up mid. Rops being the sole defender on that A-bomb site. I'm not particularly a fan of having a passive player playing that A-bomb site if you're going to stack the B site. Simply because you can run into situations like that. Fnatic used to do it quite a bit back when they were playing with Pronax and had limited success, I'd say. Oscar, though, seeing if he can get some damage done onto the bodies of NaVi, not connecting with any shots so far, though.
Yeah, has to turn tail and back off because there were a couple of players that were close to him. And that scout could be so important going through into the latter stages of this round. He's a very good scout player, is Oscar. I mean, the fact that he's taking it over Chris J pretty much says it all. Chris J, one of the better scout players in the world. Bit of a standstill, though. NaVi dropping the bomb early doors towards T-steps. So an indication that they weren't really interested in any fast shenanigans unless, of course, they got given free picks to the start of the round.
That's very true. I mean, it seems like Mousesports have kind of done their homework in that sense. Obviously, this is a 4-spy round, so they might have a bit of a different idea. Stico tries to go aggressive. It's going to get found out by Edward. Edward and Flamey, the ones to occupy halls pretty much the entirety of their T side on NaVi's end. Oh, Rops falls off the balcony, and that's going to keep Flamey alive as Flamey tries to shoot some teammates. It does allow Rops to close in the gap, and Oscar's going to find a nice shot on Simple. Second one on Simple as well. And now we've got him round on our hands.
It's always the danger when he has the scout in his hands, and now he has traded across to the AK, and Chris J's picked up the scout.
Well, Edward's in a good position, though, but is heavily tagged up, so he needs to be pinpoint with his shots here to not get turned on.
So important for NaVi on their recovery here on Inferno to hold on to this round, and hold on they shall. Electronic spray on point, 9-8.
And Electronic having a game and a half right now, 20-8. Current stat line for the debut player on the NaVi side. Definitely not shying away from the pressure of the big stage. And it's definitely what NaVi have been needed. Having a pretty slow tournament up to this point, but definitely coming alive in the finals, and that's when you need it the most. Like I said, though, Mousesports, with the 3 frags they get on NaVi, does put a bit of dent into their economy. Now they just have to try to keep away from the SMGs of Zeus and Simple.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Even though they put a dent, that's going to quickly be remedied and fixed. If Simple and Zeus run out and get a few kills, then they need to make sure they don't lose any more. They'll be charging straight down mid. Lambs to the slaughter. It was actually the AKs that picked up all the frags, but NaVi will be just fine with that. So we're all even now.
Here we go. First buy round for Mousesports. Massive round for them, obviously, going off. Losing the first buy round, never a fun feeling. Sunny's going to have to deal with a FAMAS, not having the money to get utility and a Colt. And Oscar, who we've seen being pretty relentless about not necessarily investing too much into their ecos so he can get hands on his ops, is actually going to go for UMP. Chris, very aggressive here in Banana. He's going to find Zeus. Gets taken out, though. Simple with that MP7. NaVi just loving to carry these SMGs into their buy rounds. Gonna get rewarded for it as well.
I think they realized that Mousesports, if they want to go for more utility, which you really do on Inferno on CT side, probably coming through in this round with a lack of head armor. So that's where the SMGs can be prolific. But they have traded across to an M4A1S in the hands of Simple. Suddenly wasn't far off from being tagged through the smoke. He's blocking players. They're going to know that. And they finally take him down. Oscar chiming in with an assist as well, which is pretty unfortunate. But NaVi just running away with this round at this point.
Oscar getting picked off through the smoke by Edward as well. Everything's just going horribly wrong for Mousesports here. Seiko, last man standing on this B-bomb side, immediately dealt with by Electronic, and Rops, all he can do is hope to get really lucky through the smoke, but instead runs out of bullet the second Electronic pierced through the smoke.
Actually got really unlucky because Electronic was low as he jumped around the corner. One stray bullet and he probably would have died.
Yeah.
But to be fair, even if he landed the kill, there were just so many more terrorists to deal with. So I believe that is the first time since the pistol round that NaVi have been in the lead.
Don't think you're wrong with that. No, actually, they were up. No, you're right. 1-2. they had as a lead.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a bit of a struggle, but they've managed to mount the comeback for now. Mousesports forced to take a tactical pause and talk things over. Again, yeah, still kind of want to have that, PSA announcement to Oscar to tell him to show up at this point. It's really not having much of an impact, sadly.
Yeah, you do hate to see when a player of his caliber does kind of just, the shine comes off him a little bit, because he was so good yesterday.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders above anybody on the side of big. I mean, he was dealing with Kiev comfortably, but I guess Simple is a whole different beast altogether.
Needs to go out to the top of Banana, does a fair amount of damage onto Sunny. Robs with the aggressive posturing here, and Abs here behind the smoke. Flamey, though, not deciding to go in. Now we have a pretty good approach about how they actually approach Abs as well. They rarely go in by themselves. They've been caught off a couple of times, especially in that Gambit game where one of them peers in before the other, but you can see now, if Edward's not willing to commit, neither is Flamey. No, they just don't want to run into the same kind of mistakes that we saw Mousesports do versus Eco rounds. So slow and steady. It's going to be the recipe for success here. Still have a ton of utility as well when they eventually want to make their way towards the bomb site. And this is how they played out most of their rounds versus Gambit as well. Initial pressure towards Banana, regardless if they find a frag or not, end up towards that A bomb site.
We've already seen what Sticko's Deagle can do, though. And he is going to be in the thick of the action. Simple loses his head. And NaVi lose control of the bomb for just a second. They're able to salvage it. Sticko's not far off from another headshot there. I don't know how much you want to poke Sticko with the Deagle. That sounds to me like it could be a recipe for disaster. But he will go down. Nice try. But now NaVi, and the floodgate should be open. They may not check this angle, though, that Oscar's in. If Rops can lay down a little bit of pain, but he's been flashed out. That can actually bait out Oscar. He's going to pick up a couple kills, looking for a third. He does do damage, but it's not enough to deal with Edward.
4 HP, though. Definite opportunities here. Utility is in the favor of NaVi, though. Smoking a Molotov left on the electronic side as well. Good positioning is to boot. It's going to be tough for Mousesports, but again, anything they can get in a situation like this where they're on eco, they'll happily take. But Edward, with a nice spray transfer, takes out both Chris J and Sunny. With a little bit of help from Suze previously.
A 4 HP Dream.
4 HP, 4 kill. It's all adding up for Edward in this round. And 11 rounds for NaVi. Now we're going to see the buy-up. We're finally going to see an AWP in the hands of Oscar as well. And I think this is the time to come alive, if any. If Mousesports wants to stay in this and bring it to Mirage. Looking so good. What, they're up 9-3. Now it's just been the NaVi show for the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, it's 5 rounds in a row on T side, and of course before that 3, so 8 in total. That is quite the streak. Chris J is looking to end it. Not too far off, but he's going to eat some severe damage from the grenades thrown his way.
Still not backing off. Tries to fire off a pot shot at the wall. Doesn't connect with anyone at all. But again, though, NaVi, they've done this so many times. Establish banana control and then just bail out. Gather the bomb and then set it for an execution towards A. We'll see if this is something that Mousesports are ready and equipped to handle with.
Smoke's being tossed down on Banana again. That bomb dropped just outside of the T-steps. But Simple picking up the kill. This may put Electronic on the back foot to go pick it up. Salvage, or maybe Flamey will be the man to do just that as they look to push with 3 men. Simple through the smoke. Sunny, timing just not on his side. The clouds will block out the sunlight this time around. And now Sticko, Rops, and Oscar. I mean, 2 of them already. You can see what their intent is. Just want to save on A side.
Oscar should be doing the same as well. While that smoke is down, well, it's safe to run away, and he's going to do so as well. Very questionable decision from Chris J to re-enter into the banana after giving up banana control for so long without any flashes. Like, weirdly enough, Sunny was set up to actually like nade him out, not even a flashbang. And I don't think you're going to get away with that versus NaVi. So far, 3 members alive are the ones attempting to save. Have taken out Flamey as well, who's lurking about in apps.
couple players are low, but then you look at the stacked Edward and Electronic.
Yeah.
Well, going to be about 13, 14K after this round's done.
Notice that Edward has only died 6 times so far in this game. It's off of the back that him being often the final anchor over towards the B bomb site. While Mousesports were destroying that A hold from NaVi time and time again, he was just left in situations where he has to save. He's definitely doing his part coming into the T side here. All those 2 frags from Simple this time around just wins them the round outright.
That is now 6 rounds in a row. To the side of NaVi. Because of the save, though, Mousesports able to replenish their weapons. Of course, full round loss bonus is never a bad thing in that sense either.
Well, could have been skipping on a couple of nades, but overall pretty healthy. Oscar appears down middle. Chris J is still going to be over towards that B-bomb site. No op in his hands this time around, though.
Well, he's to his front and back side, Sonny, but he's okay. NaVi not going to push him just yet. By the time that those mollies are gone, which is now, he's able to just back off slowly. Also has Chris J to watch his back. Again, though, Mousesports, I mean, we're in familiar territory to what Cobblestone was like on their CT side, where it's all good saving weapons, but at some point you're going to have to make them, you know, use of them and start to take some rounds.
It's definitely getting in there at this point. But for now, not giving up an early frag, just posturing very defensively. No op on the B bomb side, though, and that's something we saw Gambit having a ton of success with, posting up and dark corner with an op there to initially take obviously the attention away from NaVi, but also getting a couple of easy frags and setting up their rifler from new boxes. But NaVi once again go back towards A, and Oscar again missing an easy shot. Can't allow for that to happen.
There'll be some serious frustration you have to feel, especially now that because they've taken mid-control and smokes are landing in his eyes, his vision is being messed with time and time again. He doesn't know how many players are pushed through, and, well, you can almost see the frustration manifest itself as he decides to jump through the smoke with his AWP. His life has been lost. There isn't too much time left, though, to NaVi, and Rops is going to strike with 2. Suddenly, Zeus and Electronic have got to get a move on. Time itself is ticking against them, and Rops is going to pick up another. They don't have control of the bomb, and that's the round done. Mousesports will survive.
Electronic even dies after the time runs out. That's a big get for Mousesports, but again, it's the individual prowess of the players on Mousesports sides that are winning them these rounds, not necessarily off of teamwork, solid crossfires, or anything like that. And that's not a sustainable way of picking up rounds versus a team like NaVi. Perhaps even getting a little bit fortunate with how the 2 players in quad there line up. Right now, my biggest worry is that we still haven't seen anything from Oscar at this point.
I mean, those are shots he should be landing in mid.
100%. Shots I should be landing.
Mate, even me, I reckon I might have landed that one.
Yeah.
I know, that's going a bit far, but...
Nonetheless, though, Oscar is a vital part of this Mousesports team. Rob's taken down to 10 HP already. But look at this, aggressive stance on B. Chris J, the sole defender of that B bomb site, all the way down to Banana, and that's going to be a similar situation to what we saw NaVi do quite a few times here. Bit of a cheat rotation over towards this A bomb site. NaVi on their end, kind of grabbing a play out of Mousesports playbook here. 3 people in apps. Oh, Sunny not spotting anything.
Oh no, Sunny suddenly realizes his stilts have gone. They've been cut away.
Obviously it's Oscar who gets that rough treatment as well. Not a lot going his way this time. Stico's been taken out to 8 HP as well. And now this prompts the move over towards the B bomb site for NaVi.
The issue here, though, is only 2 flashbangs. Mousesports really have very little utility to stall this push any longer. It's going to have to come down to Chris J landing some kills. He does have one of their 2 flashbangs that's now been used, and it is going to land in the eyes of 4 players from the terrorists, but as soon as that subsides, there's bloodshed to be had. That being said, Sunny is going to go the same way. Sticko and Rops both low, make that just Rops on 10. It's a 3K for Edward, and he continues to impress on Inferno.
It really does. Rops, obviously 10 HP, pretty much from the get-go. The round has to save and hold on to this Colt. Also has a defuse kit to boot. But the economy of Mousesports is just in tatters at this point. Nothing really to fall back on here. And we saw once they got pushed against the wall on map number 1. They started to force buy. I don't think it's quite there yet. I think they can allow NaVi to get to 14, even though it's a bitter pill to swallow. It might be the only chance they have. They do need all the utility and weaponry they can get their hands on.
There's been a lot of naysayers and a lot of people questioning Electronic and criticizing him, but when it came to this grand finals, he has definitely delivered on both maps. Well, over 20 kills, over 25 kills actually, and a similar case on Cobblestone.
He's barely dying in this game, 9 deaths to his name. Well, definitely no nerves to be seen on the youngster. That's what NaVi are looking for as well. Here we go. Nothing bought up behind the saved Colt on Rops, outside of a Deagle on Oscar and Sticko. Rops is going to go down immediately with the aggressive push. Flamey just holding the same position pretty much every single round, far back in apps. No interest of getting caught out. Sticko, though, might be able to find Edward. And he does. Nice little one-shot. Flamey's not in a position to actually get the return frag.
Sticko with a Deagle.
Flamey actually just removing the weapon that Rops had to go aggressive with as Sunny tries to salvage it.
Oh, that crosshair placement was so good. Slightly off on the timing, and then Oscar's like, I sacrificed myself to the NaVi gods. I don't want to live anymore. Please kill me right now. And now, in 9 rounds on this second half, Mousesports have only picked up 1 CT round, and that's why they're just getting decimated. They finished the first half 9-6. They were 9-3 up at one stage.
They were looking really good. And that one round they've gotten on the CT side so far was just straight off the back of Rops. Showing some magic. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence in you. That said, though, it's not quite over yet. Oscar with the op in hand one more time.
This might be as good as of why they can hope for now. They lose this, it's pistols, it's maybe some SMGs, not much more. Can they bring this back? Chris J doing what he can. Proving to play safe. Just backs away, doesn't want to stick around any longer. Down to 33 health.
It's Electronic gone from the side of NaVi. Meanwhile, though, NaVi seemingly unfazed. Gonna go back to A once more. Tried and true recipe. Sticko just has to fall back on side. He does have a player in pit as well, so might as well set up for some crossfires.
Trying to get some sound cues there.
NaVi just really taking their time. Still have utility to work with here. 2 smokes, 3 smokes, and a Molotov. Oscar is actually going to move forward. Might get caught out here.
Nice shot. That's what you want to see from Oscar. 2-player advantage. Mousesports have a chance. Is that going to be taken away from Flamey? He's picked up 2 and Oscar's missed his opportunity. Just 20 health falls on Flamey's shoulders though. Gonna have to use each and every one of them, and Oscar's actually gonna wallbang him, and Chris J comes in for the final kill of the round. Okay, Mousesports, much better. More of that, please.
Definitely. Well, very much needed impact from Oscar there with 2 frags. You can just see what kind of a difference it makes. Even though it doesn't get the initial kill, as NaVi players drop out of halls, finds them through a box as he wants to plant. NaVi taking the tactical pause, not necessarily because they have made that many mistakes or if there's, you know, any dire need for it, but probably just to safe this in as much as possible. And obviously Mousesports have to be getting into their own heads a little bit at this point. They're thinking to themselves, well, we finally managed to stop the NaVi A push, so maybe with this tactical timeout, they're going to change things up. Maybe we're going to see fast round. To be fair, both NaVi games, we've seen 1 quick B push on every T side. When we get into the later stages of the game, that might be what's in store, but with Simple picking up that op, seeming less likely.
That's a good point. Tactical timeout, maybe more of a combo breaker than anything else. Simple, he's trained on mid. If Oscar peaks much more, it could cost him his life, but Simple decides he wants to back off instead. Edward's taking damage, down to 39.
Been really tagged up as well. And not quite sure if that's actually off of Sticko pushing into abs or not, but have to assume so. Electronic taking a ton of damage here from a Molotov, and Chris J's gonna find one frag, but both of the defenders have gone down. Oscar, though, quick rotation, runs through the smoke, will find Electronic as well, but Flame is there to return the favor, and that's the V-bomb site in the hands of NaVi. 2 players left on Mousesports. I do have a Molotov, though. Seen what kind of terror that can cause to a NaVi side on this V-bomb site. Better after plant positions, though.
He's with an AWP peeking like that, you're almost asking to die. I mean, if he has like an M4, I can kind of understand it, but surely there's half a call to wait for the rest of his team to arrive, because if there's more than one player pushing, he's pretty much dead as soon as he finds that shot.
Yeah, it's very much a one and done kind of a move if you have an AWP.
But now it's down to Stico and Rops. They don't have a kit between them, they don't have nades, but they do have headshots, and Stico's delivered one of them. However, he's on the receiving end of a battering, down to 12, and he has to be careful, because he's got to run pretty much at this point, otherwise he'll die to the bomb anyway.
Evasive maneuvers.
I think he's all right. However, Mousesports aren't. They're going to be trailing 15-11. 4 tournament points for NaVi.
All the opportunities in the world, and obviously Mousesports not finding themselves in a great state. Money-wise here, Stico being able to survive with that call could definitely be a difference maker.
Now we're seeing no wall picked up. Maybe this is the indication of a fast play, but with the bomb being dropped where it is, perhaps not.
Yeah. I just want to safe this in as much as possible. Molotov actually misses here. That allows for Stico to get some room. Edward might not be expecting this. Oh, spots the head maybe? Actually doesn't, but still gets out alive. And tags goes through the wall. And Flame is there to receive the retreating Stico. Man advantage once more in the favor of NaVi. Chris J already being tagged down, and Banana as well. 26 HP. That's just looking very much like NaVi's bound for glory.
Mousesports backs against the wall, and Rops comes out swinging. Looking for a second, but his spray lets him down. And now Sunny with his UMP. Maybe all that stands between NaVi and this entire tournament. Chris J, 1 on 4, 26 health, Famas in hand, and Simple takes him.